here, so let's
Awesome.
jump into it.
Cool, guys. Well, we're going to get started. Welcome. This is our first time doing this. My name is Jefferson Clements. I'm with Escape Properties.
Lance Monson, Baird Financial. Thanks, Jefferson, for inviting me to participate in this.
Yeah, we're stoked about it. So we've called this the Monthly Edge. We are, again, this is going to be the first one. Going forward in the future, we're going to be doing this podcast on the first Tuesday of every month. We just were too excited to wait till December to do it, so we're doing it this week. But we got some cool stuff to go over, and we're excited because as we do this more, we'll get better at doing it, and we hope to provide you guys some really good information that some of it's out there, but we really want to give you the edge, literally, to know if now's the time to continue to rent, if it's the time to buy, if it's the time to invest, all of the above. So that's our mission here, and we'll just go ahead and jump into it.
Yeah, give us your feedback in the comments, what you appreciate, what you could do without, how we can improve. So we're here to help you.
Yeah, good point. And along the way, if there's questions about the slides that we've got or whatever we talk about, like throw it out there. We've got it pulled up on another screen where we'll try to answer questions as they come. And at the end, we'll also have kind of a questions and answers segment so that if something does come up, you guys can ask those questions. So we'll jump right into it. The Monthly Edge with Jefferson and Lance. Let's see here. So November home tip of the month, we threw this fun little slide. Lance and I were arguing on which movie this is from. We think it's Zoolander, but I can't remember. If you know, comment there. But anyways, November is kind of the beginning of the slow season for a lot of people, especially for handymen. And so one of the recommendations that we wanted to make was if you have any home projects that are coming up that you might need kind of another hand on or anything like that, now's a good time to schedule those because it's their slow season, which means one, they're easier to schedule, and two, sometimes you can negotiate with them. So we do have contacts if you ever need help with that. The reason why this is beneficial to everybody, tenants, if you don't want to necessarily go and start doing projects, but if you have broken something, it's nicer to have a handyman come and fix it properly, and it makes you look good as a tenant, even though it broke or whatever it is. For landlords, of course, anytime and any chance that you can do an improvement on a property, that's awesome. That's good. So since it's our first time doing this, we wanted to offer a second tip of the month. This is an idea: adopt a front yard. We've seen those signs that say, adopt a highway. Kind of the same idea, except for the invitation here is to take 5 minutes this week, every day that you get home, and just take 5 minutes to look at your own yard and just pick something to work on, whether that's pulling a few more weeds, or if it's removing that box that your wife has asked you to move, or like taking out the trash that's sat on the curb, whatever it is for you. The suggestions is just to kind of take a minute and make your house, whether you're renting or if it's your primary residence or whatever it is, make your house your home. And it's easy to do that if you just focus in on it. So
I have used some of your handyman.
Cool.
Knock out a bunch of honeydew lists and you're the hero without having to do anything.
Yes, so, good. Yeah,
and they do a good job.
Yeah, it's true. We are the best. Let's see here. Let's go to this next page here. Okay, so first thing that we wanted to start with after that tip of the month was kind of giving you guys an idea of what the average rent is in both Washington and Iron County. Now you'll notice here that this is for the 3-bedroom size. So if you are an investor, if you own a rental, or if you live in a rental, you may notice that maybe your rental isn't quite $2,200 a month. This is just an average based on everything that is out there, right? And so you might be in a place where you rent less, you might be in a place where you rent more. This is just an average, whether you're in either county. But it is good, and we're excited because this is data that I've gone through and manually found as I've been doing the property management side of my business. And so we're excited that now we're keeping track of this. We're going to be able to kind of show you a projective graph to show you where the rental market is going, and definitely give you guys the edge so that you know whether you're renting, kind of what to expect as your lease renewals come up, or if you're looking to invest, like really knowing what types of properties to be looking for. So we're excited for that.
Have you seen a softening in rents over the last few years?
I would say, yeah, a lot of the renewals that we've been doing have been there hasn't been as many increases. And if they're properties that are able to be increased, they're not very big increases at all.
Okay.
Not seeing a lot of anything decreasing for renewals. It's not typically the way that you see that
Just
go.
not the
It's not-
upswing that we
yeah.
had going for a while there was
Exactly.
tough to swallow for people, I know.
But I am noticing that anything that does come across over that 2,000 mark is definitely taking a little bit longer to rent out. And so even though the average for Washington County is above that, it's definitely like a number to be like, okay, that is the average to remember. So like consult me if you've got questions about what your rental should be doing or what your rental could do. Moving on to what was that?
Oh, I just said perfect. That's good.
Moving on to the market side of things, we've got here the Washington County numbers. This is, these graphs kind of show you, these are just the market data, market summary right here. You've got a total, this is the end of October, total of 2,500 active listings, 409 listings sold in the month of October, which is, we did the math just before starting this, is about 23% of what was active was actually getting sold, which is awesome.
Or was it 16?
This one was
it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Iron
16.
County was 20 something.
That's right. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll show you that here in a second too. But yeah, St. George was 16% of the homes that were active sold. So kind of interesting. So that gives you, if you look down at the absorption rate down below, it shows you 5.86 months. That means if no other homes got out of the market today, it would take 5.86 months to sell off the remaining 2,500 homes that are online. Let's take a peek at that graph to the right. The sold to list ratio is always kind of a fun one, 95.2%, pretty much saying that if a home is listed, that the 95.2% chance that it's going to be selling for that much less than the listing price. So it's really important.
So on average, a 5% reduction in price.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to make sure that if you do have real estate that you're trying to sell, make sure that you know how to accurately price it so that you can either stay as close to this 95.2% number or increase that with a good real estate agent, right? Take a look over here, this top right graph. We're going to come back to this number. 514,000 is the average sold price for the month of October. So we'll kind of just come back to that. Here's your days on market, 79.8. And here's Iron County. So a little bit different. This is where Lance was talking about. You've got the sold listings are 219 to the active listings of 940, which was a 23% sell rate, I guess, right there.
That absorption rate is almost the same.
Almost the same, yeah.
And that list ratio is about almost the same. So.
Yeah. What's interesting is notice how it is the same this month, but last month was a little bit different the way. Notice how St. George has climbed up, so it's going a little slower this month. When Cedar had slowed down, it was actually more days on market, which is kind of interesting. So kind of fun, 94.2% on that difference with the list price to sell price. And days on market is pretty comparable, 80.8 days compared to the 79.8. So pretty similar. It's interesting. Dealt with a lot of buyers who've noticed that, that you're seeing a lot of these homes that sit for about 80 days before they actually sell. So important to know that when you're trying to price it, and important to know that when you're trying to negotiate. So especially on the buyer side.
So if I'm a buyer, all these graphs, what does that mean to me?
Honestly, if you're able to find out of these houses that are sitting there for a while, those are the ones to target. Those are the ones where it doesn't necessarily mean that the seller is ready, but chances are seller's probably more motivated to sell if it's sat longer than 80 days. So that's what I definitely keep an eye out for. So, well, let's jump into the
30-year mortgage. Yeah, that's my topic there. So
cool.
This is just a 3-year graph showing where interest rates have been over the last 3 years. And you see that we're sitting about 6.22 on average. This is nationwide.
Interesting.
And if you look at that chart, we're sitting right at or right near a 3-year low, which is a good thing. We need some interest rate relief.
Yeah, 100%.
So
when you're
needed.
Yeah, when you're looking at the low, you're looking at these kind of dips right here, right? It looks
like January of 23.
Yeah, 23.
I can see it.
July, in between July and January.
August of 24, we had a good dip.
Cool.
Just a short one though, short window. So,
Cool.
and then the nice thing is we're seeing a nice trend in the right direction. So hopefully that'll continue and we'll
Awesome.
continue to, see those interest rates come down.
Yeah, that would be sweet. I remember one of the things I hear all the time is, oh, well, remember when our parents bought homes, it was, clear up there. And so
Yeah.
still historically low.
Historically, 6% is a good rate.
Mhm.
It's it's average to good,
For sure.
right? So we're it's not a bad interest rate, not a bad time to buy. There's inventory.
For sure.
I remember when we were really low and all my buyers had a hard time getting into something because they were getting outbid and there was no concessions. They had to come up with a full down payment and closing costs. So now in this market, we're seeing, sellers not only come down on price, but often concede and, help with closing costs, help with discount points,
Yeah.
those kind of things.
That's an interesting point too, going back to that graph that was talking about the difference in the list price to sell price. The data doesn't necessarily reflect the concessions that were included in that. And so that means that there's even more gain right there for buyers where they can actually ask for those concessions. And so that definitely means there's some hope there for buyers for sure. So.
Yeah. And oftentimes that, a couple points or percentage off the price won't do much for you as far as payment goes. But if you can get a seller to contribute towards your closing costs, we can do a lot with that as far as bringing down your interest rate and helping your overall payment.
Good. I love that.
So
sweet. Should we move on?
yeah, let's go to the next one here.
I'm excited about this one. I'm stoked for this.
Hot topic in the media right now. So apparently Trump has proposed this idea of a 50-year mortgage.
It's crazy.
So
I was like, it was a head scratcher when you said it to me. I was like, really? I had to go and watch the article. I missed it. So I jumped on there and watched it. Holy smokes. So
let's break down what this looks like just to, numbers wise.
perfect.
So I took the 514 that you said the average local price is.
Perfect.
488 is 95% of that. So if you get a conventional mortgage,
Perfect.
typically you put 5% down, you have mortgage insurance still. This graph and payment is just showing your principal and interest.
Nice.
So no insurances, taxes, or mortgage insurance.
Just a pretty standard conventional loan right there.
Yeah, just for comparison's sake.
Good.
But what jumps out, okay, your monthly payment for P&I, $2,928 on a 30-year mortgage, right? And your total interest over that term, you'll pay $566,000.
Cool. It's so much noise.
It's so much until you compare it to the 50-year, right?
Right. Now look at that over to the right.
So on a 50-year, you save $316 a month.
Cool.
So you're in the $2,600 range on that payment. But that total interest, $1,078,000.
Wow. That's
so
pretty much
much
double.
money.
I guess it's shy of double, but I mean, you look at it, it's pretty darn close to double on that. That's insane.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, what do you think? Pros and cons. What do
All
you
right.
think?
Pros and cons. Okay. So con, obviously, all the interest you're going to pay, right? Yeah, no one likes that. Even on a 30, look at, how much interest is front loaded on a 30-year mortgage.
So much
It's hard to swallow for people,
For sure.
You are really, the first few years you're in that house, most of it's going to interest. Anytime you can chip in and, pay extra principal, you really save a ton over the life and shorten up that term. The pros, I guess, a 50-year mortgage, I mean, as an investor, if it makes that house cash flow and I can buy another property and somebody else is paying that interest and I'm writing it off my taxes, maybe I don't care as much, right? Or maybe, I'm struggling to get into a house anyways as a buyer, and that, is the difference between getting that first home or not even participating, right?
Okay.
And so we know that generally speaking, historically, houses go up in value. And, so you get to get in the game, you get to see some appreciation, hopefully. And then, a lot of people only stay in the house 5 years, 8 years. So when you sell it, you're still going to be able to participate in that appreciation. And now maybe the second go around, you do a 30-year or a 15-year, something more aggressive and payments. So
that's interesting.
Pros and cons.
I think for me, the way I was thinking of it is like, it's almost like a perfect loan for a very, very, very responsible buyer, meaning like, okay, if you can make it so that it makes sense to get, $200 or $300 off your monthly payment, but maybe like if you can come through and then pay down the loan faster, I feel like
Yeah.
that would make the most sense to use that kind of loan where, maybe that works better than the 30-year loan if you can make that difference. But
Right.
I don't know how possible that is. That still seems like $300 isn't enough to help you justify doing that. But I wonder.
Yeah, if you take that 50-year term so that you have that locked in lower payment that you qualify for, but you throw that extra $316 a month at it,
That's true.
you'll pay it off in about, I would say, 30 years and 6 months. That's what,
cool.
when we run a 30 versus 15, that's kind of how the numbers work out. If you pay the difference, it's like 6 months.
Cool.
So
do you think that would you save more interest doing it that way? Or would it kind of be sixes? It would be kind of the same.
So the product hasn't come out yet, and this is assuming the same interest rate.
That's true.
I don't know what that's going to look like. I imagine a 50-year mortgage is going to come with a little bit higher interest rate.
Totally.
So that'll even work against you a little bit more.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see what happens, but kind of
yeah, we'll see if it even happens.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things to kind of
That's true.
consider.
We'll keep you up to date as we find out more on that. So,
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go to the
What
next.
do we got next here? This is another big thing that's been in the news a little bit on
Yeah.
social media. I've seen
This
some
one.
posts.
Made me scratch my head with both hands.
So Fannie Mae is the big conventional lender. Freddie Mac is the other one, but Fannie Mae has said, starting in a few weeks, November 16th, so end of the week, they're no longer considering credit scores as part of their
That's interesting.
automated underwriting. So basically, when you take an application with me, I take all your information, I pull your credit, we run it through what's called automated underwriting,
Yeah.
and it says approved or not approved, essentially.
Sure.
So a big piece of that with Fannie Mae has always been, if you don't have a 620 score, it's an automatic decline. So they're going away from that now.
Interesting.
Right? Now, that doesn't mean that if you're sub 620 that you're going to get qualified automatically, because typically you're got other stuff going on your credit, right? Your payment history might not be as clean as it should be. You might, but it is, let's say you had one hiccup, but you don't have a ton of credit, and you can somehow, maybe you can add your history of your rent payments on time to your credit, and maybe we can, put a little bit more down payment, a little bit more in reserves. We can overcome, that credit score and still qualify for that conventional financing versus the only options before were FHA.
Yeah.
So it's a positive move. It's a trend that we're heading towards with mortgages, where we're beginning to look more past the credit score and more at the actual content of the credit.
Interesting.
So it's a good.
Here's a question. Maybe this doesn't apply, but I don't know if in the event that somebody doesn't have any credit, would this apply to those people? Is that kind of one of those scenarios that you could see this helping somebody? I don't know.
Good question. I've never. There is programs we have that if you have no credit whatsoever, we can do things. It's not Fannie Mae conventional currently,
Right?
but maybe that'll change something in those
Maybe.
regards. I have seen some services where, let's say you have 2 years of renting your apartment, paying your utilities, you can pay a third-party service to report that for you,
Oh, interesting.
and we can get it on your credit report, and that can help to establish some history and that kind of a thing. So
good. So there's
Yeah.
some options there.
yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Anything else on this topic before we move on?
I don't think so. If there's any questions in the
Yeah,
comments, I
let's
don't know. Anyone?
Let's see if I don't see any here.
All right. Well,
But
chime in if you have questions. All right. So this slide, this is just a pie graph that kind of illustrates how your credit score, what makes up your credit score.
Yeah.
So we got your payment history, your balances on your credit, how long you've had your different lines of credit, types of credit, whether it's open or closed or auto loans or mortgages, that kind of thing, and then any new credit. So on this one, that kind of feeds in with that 620 that we're talking about that Fannie Mae is going away with. They're not going to be looking at that score as much, but they are going to be looking harder at this, right?
Yeah.
So right now, there's some things you can do to kind of manipulate your score that we tell everyone, hey, pay down all your credit card balances, get them under 10% of the available limit,
Yeah.
or increase your limits so that, you know, your ratios are better.
Exactly.
That has an automatic boost to your credit score, right? So with the changes, they're going to more of a trended look, right? So it's not just like, hey, I did this 2 weeks ago and now we're pulling the credit and we're going off the score.
100%.
It's going to be more of a, hey, what's that credit card been at over the last 12 months, right?
Interesting.
So this isn't going to apply like right away, but this is where we're going. If you're 6 months, a year out, kind of have that in the back of your mind that this is where, you know, it looks like we're going with credit. So
Interesting.
just be aware of that.
That's super helpful. Yeah.
So
Very good. Well, sweet guys. We're trying to keep this super simple, super sweet, especially for our first episode here. Let's does anybody have any questions that's in the chat? I think I've got that turned on. Again, I'm not the most tech savvy. Maybe somebody just say hi if you're on there, and let's see if that's coming through. But
yeah, we see a few people on there.
there's a few people there, but I don't know where to look. Can't see it. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask that. We do have another question for you. We announced this as the monthly edge, but we have a couple of ideas in mind, and we would love any of your feedback on names. If you want to send in an A, B, C, or D, or if you think of something that's better than what we've got here, we are more than happy to hear that too. So let's see here. I have no idea how to make sure that this chat is here. Okay, cool. Chat's coming through.
Oh yeah.
We would love a comparison and historical data. Heck yeah. So we'll definitely get something like that. I'm excited because we're going to be really looking at the rental data as well as the market data. So no matter what your living situation or what your real estate goals are, it will give you the best information to be able to know where it's going. Bottom to see the right corner of my phone.
Oh, so our video is showing
cool.
up in that corner. So.
Dude, love this feedback. Thank you guys. Did we use the interest rate for the 30 and the 50-year comparison? I believe so, right? We used the same
30.
interest rates.
I used the same 6% for both.
Perfect. Awesome. 6%.
Yeah.
I think it was 5% down.
5% conventional. Yeah, that's
So,
just a generic scenario. It's not, you know,
awesome.
it's about where we're at today. You know, 6.22 is the national average, but
Cool.
we can get you in. Most people are getting in around 6.
Good. Very good. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining. I know we're just trying to keep this super short, super sweet. We're going to have this up on the YouTube channel as well. You can send it to anybody that you think of that you think needs to see this. As we get going, we'll make sure that we dive in deeper and make sure that you guys get, I guess, the best information that you can to make sure that you guys stay on the edge right here. So I didn't even ask ChatGPT that one. Anyways, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you, and we'll catch you later. We'll see you the first Tuesday of the next month. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.